New at 10, they are calling themselves medical refugees, an influx of families with kids suffering from seizures, all moving to Colorado to seek marijuana treatment. 7 News reporter Russell Haythorne shows us doctors don't endorse it, but some parents feel it's their only option. Call 7 investigator John Ferrugia is breaking the exclusive information, calling into question the actions of the Logan County Department of Human Services. He found out little Levi and his brother tested positive for pot this month, and it wasn't the first time. Yet the Logan County Department of Human Services did not immediately remove them from the home, even though there was a documented risk of fire in that home.
We'd be the first person to tell management that you deserve a raise.
You get credit for
that?
that?
Yes.
So nice football weather.
Nice football weather, just a bit on the breezy side, so it won't quite feel so warm, so sweaters or something.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your weekend. Good night. First responders say the sheer size of that crash combined with bad weather made it a difficult and chaotic scene. CDOT tells us the roads were treated before the crash, but they haven't said at what time. The pictures say it all. Here are the stories from those caught up in that pileup. New information on the Royal Gorge fire. This is the fire last summer that burned near Canyon City and did heavy damage to the famous Royal Gorge Bridge. Police now say the fire was human-caused. The Canyon City Police Department won't elaborate on that finding or if they have a suspect. The fire destroyed nearly 50 structures in the park and burned more than 3,000 acres. New tonight, 3 people are now recovering after an avalanche crushed their home in Montana. This video right after it happened, at least 50 emergency crews and neighbors grabbed whatever they could and started digging to rescue those buried. They pulled out an 8-year-old boy and an elderly couple. Now we're hearing from all those people who pitched in.
It was scary as heck because when I heard there might have been someone in there, I'm like trying to help other people and get evacuated when we started smelling the gas.
One of the cops just told us if you have a shovel, run up the street.
And police say the 3 who were buried by this avalanche survived by finding pockets of air and gaps in the snow. Right now, California, from one extreme to the next, the drought-stricken state is now leaking. People getting pummeled with rain. This heavy downpour is turning hillsides into mudslides and streets into rivers.
I don't see why I should have to evacuate.
Take their word for it and get out of Dodge.
Different opinions. Listen to this. California got more rain in the last 48 hours than in the entire previous year. New tonight, a bloody, chaotic mess in China. Several men dressed in all black, armed with knives, stab people at a train station, killing dozens. 33 people are dead tonight, another 130 wounded. State-run TV is calling it a terrorist attack. The motive is still unknown. Our partners at the Denver Post expose major budget discrepancies and overruns at the airport, hotel, and train terminal now under construction. Even though DIA officials say it remains on or close to budget, the Post found out they've excluded related costs and apparently cut spending in other critical areas. In fact, the real cost is more than 30% over the budget proposed 3 years ago. The complete report will be in tomorrow morning's Denver Post. Developing right now, a double murder in Denver. 2 people shot and killed inside their apartment in northeast Denver. It happened near Pena Boulevard off Memphis around 3 this morning. Police haven't released any information about a possible motive or suspects, but they say they're questioning people who might have information about the crime. Another hit and run in Denver has police looking for the driver tonight. Police say a motorcyclist was hit near 8th and Colorado early this morning. The person who did it took off. Police say the motorcyclist was taken to the hospital with a head injury. No word on his condition.
Today, surrounded by loving family and everyday hardworking Coloradans, I announce my intention to run for the United States Senate as we take this country in the direction of promise and a brighter future.
That's Congressman Cory Gardner formally launching his campaign for U.S. Senate today. The rising Republican star began his race by accusing the incumbent, Senator Mark Udall, of caring more about Washington than people here in Colorado. His last-minute entry into the campaign is really shaking up Colorado politics. Udall's campaign released a statement calling Gardner a Tea Party Republican, voted the 10th most conservative congressman in the country. Okay, remember this guy, Representative Jared Wright? He left a loaded weapon in a committee room at the state capitol about a week ago. Now it appears he is dropping out of the race for re-election. According to the Grand Junction Daily Sentinel, the Republican from Fruita has endorsed his GOP opponent. Wright's only been in office for a year. Right now, an important deadline looms for anyone putting off getting health insurance. The deadline to get health care coverage from the state is March 31st. Now, if you miss that, you won't be able to sign up until next year. Living out without coverage is no longer an option. If you don't have it, you could be fined by the IRS.
When you are working through your tax filing, like you said, that's when the question will be asked, and the IRS will be reconciling that directly with the individual.
And so far, 85,000 people have signed up for the program. There are about 750,000 people uninsured in our state. The infamous Toronto Mayor Rob Ford is in the U.S. tonight ahead of a guest spot on the Jimmy Kimmel Show next week. He had a special chauffeur pick him up, Jimmy Kimmel himself. The mayor, who notoriously admitted to smoking crack, will be on the show Monday night right after 7 News at 10. And you can also see Jimmy Kimmel when he hosts a special wrap-up of everything Oscars tomorrow night. Oscar coverage gets underway here on Denver's 7 at 2. The awards ceremony starts at 6:30, immediately followed by 7 News, and Jimmy Kimmel will start at his regular time. Coming up on SPX, Nuggets are in the Pacific Northwest, hoping to get back in the win column. And we catch up with Derek Wolf and find out how he's doing and what he went through last year. Next in SPX. And it's even worse in Montana. An avalanche in Missoula destroys a house and buries 3 people. This video just into our newsroom. Rescuers and neighbors digging into the snow, trying to free everyone. A child was buried, but was rescued and taken to the hospital, and everyone made it out alive. This is a residential area of the city, close to the University of Montana. And only on 7 News, a trip to the DMV nearly lands this woman in jail after discovering the car she just bought was actually stolen. Marshall Zellinger is live in Boulder County. Marshall, you're finding out how this is even possible. A truck slams into a house in Grand Junction and goes right through it. The man driving the truck died in this crash this afternoon, but amazingly, no one inside the home was hurt. The local newspaper is reporting the man had a natural event and a female passenger in that truck was not hurt. New at 10, dozens brave dropping temperatures tonight in Aurora at a vigil for 20-year-old Terrell Ephraim. He was killed Wednesday night, found lying on the ground near 28th and Wheeling Streets. His mother trying to understand what happened.
He ain't no trouble kid. He ain't in gangs. He ain't in none of that. And they took my baby. For what? For what? And justice needs to be served.
And police still haven't said how Ephraim died. No arrests have been made or suspects named. New tonight, a former girls basketball referee must register as a sex offender. Today, Stephen Amador was sentenced to 60 days in jail and 4 years probation. He used to be a ref in Jefferson County, but was convicted of touching 4 female players. Those girls testified he groped them during games last winter. 7 News looked into his background. He has a sex assault charge dating back to the early 90s. Chasa says he lied on paperwork and has since started doing background checks on referees. New tonight, a sex offender off the streets. Tonight, police tracked down Bronson McDowell in northeast Denver. That was just a few hours ago. McDowell has a record, including sexual assault on a child, and he is a suspect in a new child sexual assault in Denver. And new at 10, our first look at a convicted child rapist after his arrest in Virginia. We've been telling you about Eric Hartwell since he cut off his ankle monitor here in Denver a week ago and went on the lam. U.S. Marshals tracked him across the country, finally to this Motel 6. They had to break down the door to arrest him. Marshals tell us Hartwell hopped on a bus and left Denver the same night he removed that ankle bracelet.
He stayed on the move. He stayed on the run. And he moved from place to place to place, and we were able to catch glimpses of him on surveillance footage in train stations, in bus stations.
And Hartwell was in court this afternoon in Virginia. He will be extradited to Texas, where he was on probation. He'll probably face additional charges here in Colorado as well. If you have our 7 News app, you found out about this story first. 7 News sent breaking updates of Hartwell's arrest after the week-long manhunt. You can get breaking news alerts and updates all through our 7 News app. A 7 News alert, Russian troops are now invading Ukraine. Convoys can be seen along the roads tonight, and the president is calling it a dangerous move.
We are now deeply concerned by reports of military movements taken by the Russian Federation inside of Ukraine. There will be costs for any military intervention in Ukraine.
And Ukraine is on the precipice of a civil war that could drag in Russia, Europe, and possibly even the U.S. The country is torn between Russia on one side and the European Union on the other. President Obama says he wants to make it very clear the Ukrainian people deserve the chance to determine their own future. At long last, the new Amtrak station in downtown Denver is in service. Trains have been operating at a nearby temporary station for the last 3 years during construction here at Union Station. The first train left the new stop earlier tonight, headed for Chicago, and the next train leaves tomorrow morning. We now have a clearer picture of what happened during Bridgegate, the now infamous traffic nightmare in New Jersey. The George Washington Bridge shutdown is at the center of an investigation into Governor Chris Christie and 2 of his former appointees. Tonight, we get a chance to listen to the 911 tapes. And that audio is expected to reveal whether the lane closures led to a delayed emergency response time because of congestion. Governor Christie still denies having anything to do with that closure. Check out this video of a water rescue caught on camera. 2 men and 2 dogs left stranded on a fallen tree in waist-deep water. This is near L.A. Firefighters giving these men life jackets, and they had to jump into an inflatable boat. They all made it out okay. Scenes like that and this here playing out across California today. Heavy rain is pounding the area, sending a river of mud into streets in Glendora, California. This water is hitting areas where a massive wildfire burned last year. At least 2 towns had to be totally evacuated because of this flooding.